Welcome back to my series of videos resurrecting this 90s Les Paul Studio Light. It's now been sanded on the back and on the sides and on the front, but not as much as the back and sides. What I need to do today is clean up the area around the edges because I've touched it when doing the sides of the guitar. Doing the neck, sanding the back of the headstock. I've been sneakily painting this with black paint over the course of doing the series of sanding bits, and it's coming up quite nice, but there's some bubbles, so it needs a bit of a light sanding back, maybe another coat or two, and then attaching the new decal. And then it's going to get put back together with the new parts, and then I'm going to set it up, and then I'm going to play it. So I'm very excited about getting to this stage of the guitar build. Whew, it's been a lot of work, and thank you for sticking with me. Let's get on with it. Let's start the sanding of the neck. Sadly, my GoPro's out of juice, so there's the neck as it is currently. Quite rough, but all workable. The headstock's still very dirty. So let's take this tape off and get to work, working up through the grits, making sure that everything stays wet so as not to burn through the wood. I'll speed this up as I normally do. See you on the other side. Regarding how to do this, I'm not putting any pressure on there. I'm just holding the paper on there and working it up and down in a rather suggestive manner. I've just seen that I need to be quite careful with the headstock because it still requires quite a bit of sanding. It's quite chopped up. But what I don't want to do is get any of this serial number or anything away. So I'm going to have to go down to 240, maybe 120 for the headstock. I'm not too concerned about the look because I'm well beyond the stage of invalidating my warranty. So anything I'm doing here aesthetically is purely for me and for you. This is always the scariest part of sanding because you're making quite a hefty change. That's 120 grit I'm using, and every stroke is making a difference. And when you're all up around 2,000, 3,000, you don't notice so much, but even though I've done this many times, I still find it quite nerve-wracking. It's already looking a lot better. It's quite hairy around this area, and that area is looking pretty bad, but it does look better, so that's good. And I'm finished with that area here. Just wondering how many times I can say the word area. Let's get on with it. That's most of the cleaning up done. You'll notice that just here needs to be cleaned a bit further. And this layer of sanding is really just for cleaning. It's almost making the surface worse rather than smoother, but it does need to be cleaned. And then working its way up through the different grades of sandpaper will help me make it smooth. $800. I'm up to 1,000 now. I'm really starting to feel very, very smooth. Let's take a little break to go in with the close-up camera. And it's really, really looking good. Dried that off quite a lot. It is very smooth, and I'm only up to 1,000. So we're on the home run now. Almost home and dry. 1,500. 2,000. At this point, I'm just showing it the paper. There you are, there's some sandpaper. A little bit of grit on there. Nothing to worry about. Stick with me and you'll be fine. 3,000! Finally! The last grit that I'll be doing. before tru-oiling. Now, I'm going to dry it off. Fast forward, go! Before anything can get oiled, everything's got to be cleaned. So I'm sorry for putting you through. This is the fourth of what is going to be a 5-part video by the seams of things. I've had some really nice comments on what I've done so far with the guitar, and that's really encouraging. I was expecting more people to say that I shouldn't mess with what Gibson have done. But no, everyone's been really cool, so I really thank you for that if you've left me a nice comment. If you've left me a not so nice but constructive comment, then also thank you. And if you're one of those other types of people, then I hope you enjoyed yourself. Because I'm going with silver hardware, the hardware that came off here was black, and what's going on there is going to be chrome. These are Grovers, and you may notice that the hole does not line up. So I have to drill new holes for the new machine heads. I could leave the old ones, but so what I've done is I've put some glue in these 6 holes, and I'm just scraping the back of the headstock and pushing this oops, where is it? This mahogany dust down to those said holes. And that's going to fill them enough to make me care about doing it. I was preparing this from earlier, this sawdusty stuff, and while I did that, my daughter came to give me some flowers she collected because they'd been out on a walk, and it made me realise that time is short and should not be wasted. So I gave up on filling the holes and started to just scrape the neck back, the headstock back. In doing so, I realised that by scraping creates this little fine dust which I could then push into the holes. And that now means that this job is better than it would have been had I continued. So thank you to my daughter Evelina for letting me see the error of my ways. That is stunning. It even looks better than it did when it was wet. I'm genuinely very, very happy with that. Here comes the exciting part, the body. The neck looks beautiful, not quite finished up around here yet. But the reason you bought the tickets to this show was the body, so let's crack on. Very happy with that. That's going to set off against that blue nicely. I'm spinning around. Lovely. Excuse the guitar and microphone and flea market graveyard in the background. I truly apologise that this is just a video of me sanding. But it's taken such a long time to get this guitar ready. I can't believe that I'm even making a 4th part, let alone making a 5th part, which is going to come after this. I promise you that part 5 will be out next week, and I promise you that the guitar will be finished. Promise. In the meantime, apologies for the video of sanding, and if you want to support me on Patreon, please visit the Patreon page. If you want to subscribe, please do, and if you want to comment how terrible this video is, please do, and if you want to like it and share it, then please do. I'm the Guitar Geek. I'll see you next week or in another video very, very soon. Bye bye.